Hey everybody, it's Peter, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Oh For Pete's Sake .stitch, where I talk about what I've done for cross stitch for the last month and a half. So it has been a month and a half. Typically, I try to make it a month, but it was just crazy busy. I usually record the third week of the month, and we were getting ready for a vacation trip, so it just didn't happen. So I'm either 3 weeks late for my November update or a week early for my December. But anyways, it's great to be with all of you returning viewers, and if you're new, welcome. Hope you like what you see. So we're going to start with, well, there's going to be a lot in this episode. We're going to have everything that I did in November, and then we're going to go through WIP Parade because it's the end of the month, or end of the year. Sorry, end of the year. So I'll have a work in progress parade, and then we'll finish up with some of my plans for 2026. So to introduce my projects from November, just to review, I do something called No New November, where I don't do any new starts and I only work on my works in progresses. And thanks to everybody who reached out and showed their progress on all of their works in progresses, because they also participated in No New November. So the first project that I worked on in November was the Teresa Kogut Bittersweet Drum. And so I finished this at the beginning of November. And so instead of finishing it as a drum, I finished mine as a project bag. So there's the finished piece. I did this on 40 count R&R reproduction fabric. And I had two different dye lots. Oh, sorry, it's sheep straw. Yeah, that's what I said, sheep straw, 40 count. And I had two different dye lots, and so this was the lighter of the two that I had. Now, I used most of the called for DMC and overdyed cottons. I did make a substitution. When I was purchasing the threads, I thought I had autumn leaves and one of the other recommended in my stash, and then I got home and I didn't. So I ended up having to use a colonial copper as my orange along the bottom, and as well as in the pumpkins, and then the red, the overdyed red that's in the bittersweet. I switched to campfire. The other substitution that I made was the house was a yellowish DMC, and I changed mine to the Classic Colorworks Grecian Gold. And so it just gives it a little bit of texture to the house. So that was what I worked on at the beginning of the month, and was able to finish this work in progress. Oh, and then the back. I'm practicing on my quilt. I'm practicing my quilt piecing, and so my practice is I'm making into bags, and so this is a maple leaf design that I've put on the back. So that was fun. They meet up pretty well. So there's a few corners that are a little cattywampus, but the quilters at the shop, I was at the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I was in Ocala at the Common Thread cross stitch shop, and the quilters who were stitching that day said it looked really good. So I'll take their word for it. So anyway, so that's my first finish, Teresa Kogut's Bittersweet Drum. And then once I finished that project, I moved on to Hannah Phillips, 1826. And this is by Needlework Press. And so I started this midway through 2025 after Stitch Camp. And so I have made a lot of progress on this piece. So I began November with this floral motif finished. So in November, I was able to finish this large floral motif and then added like one or two sets of leaves to this side of the cartouche, and then three sets of leaves to this side. And then I attended the Jingle Ball this weekend, and what I worked on was filling this house, and I also finished this quilt star. But what I'm most happy about is how much progress I made with the verse that is in the middle. So I'm stitching this on 36 count, or sorry, Needle Bling Heirloom 36 count. And the reason I chose the larger stitch count is specifically because of all of this over one. And so it's a poem by Christine. Oh shoot, I forget her last name, but she's from the 1800s, and it's a poem called "I Wish I Could Remember." And so I've got 16 lines. Now, one of those 16 is her name, so one of the lines is shorter, but it is a lot of over one. And so on 36 count, which I chose for the specific reason of having so much over one, can make it a little bit easier. But it over one it takes time, but the payoff is a lot because it's gonna look phenomenal when it's all finished. So I'm really looking forward to continuing on this. So because I did come back to it after my Thanksgiving, what I worked on during the Thanksgiving, which was so I worked on that for a while, and the weekend before Thanksgiving, we went on a cruise, and so I knew I needed something smaller. Hannah Phillips is 289 by 199 stitches, so it's not a small project that you can easily pack on a cruise ship. And so what I ended up taking with me was a little bit of Spring by Blackbird Designs. And what's funny is that the reason I laugh at myself is because the reason I didn't take Hannah is because it was big. And even this project is not small. You would never call it a small, but it was the smallest work in progress that I had. So so that was helpful, as well as it's a lighter color fabric, and so that would also help with stitching it in a place with low light, like a cruise ship. So so this is my second finish during No New November, and it is, well, I stitched on it through November and then the first week of December. So it wasn't a finish in November, but a lot of it was stitched in November. So this is A Little Bit of Spring by Blackbird Designs. I stitched it on Seraphim Fabric, Thespy, 40 count. And so at the beginning of November, I had about a quarter of this border finished, and basically none of the floral motifs in the bottom done. So I ended up having to do the berry border on the bottom half, and then all the floral motifs. So those bright reds and those blues were fun. Oh, the blues. So the blue is charted as Weeks Dye Works Confederate Gray, and Confederate Gray can look blue when the colors surrounding it are also a duller color. But this red was just so bright that the Confederate Gray just looked very gray. So I switched my blue to Classic Colorworks Old Money. So it's just a little bit of a bluer color, just to stand up against that bright red. Oh, just for comparison, I did use, because all of the birds were supposed to be the bright red, the old red paint is what the red is. So it was supposed to be, all of the birds were supposed to be the bright red and bright blue. But I changed, like this one is the Confederate Gray. So you can see that it's not very blue. The dye lot I have isn't blue. So, and then I charted it so that way it's got my family members in it, which all my Blackbird designs have family. Yeah, so this was my Christmas start for 2024. So I really pushed through it just so that way I would be able to have it done before Christmas this year. So that will be part of plans at the end of the video. So yeah, so that's what that was my successful November, is two finishes and some awesome progress on Hannah. So so I'm really happy with the past month. And so now we'll go through a WIP parade, a work in progress parade. So I'm gonna regroup and get everything together. So, all right. So it's December, the end of the year, and so this is when a lot of folks show all of their works in progresses, just so that way you as well as ourselves can, sort of look back at what we're entering the new year with for our works in progresses. So I've got everything laid out and ready to show you. So the first one, my first work in progress is Hannah Phillips. And I'm not going to post this one again because you just saw it hanging. So Hannah Phillips. The second WIP is Teresa Koget's Remember Me. I started this in 2025 as well. So I haven't made any more progress on this since the last time I showed you back in October. So this is Remember Me by Teresa Koget. I'm stitching it on XJU Design Victorian Tea Party 40 count. I'm using the recommended DMCs and overdyed cottons with one substitution. The light green I have changed to Scopernog instead of the listed color. So it's still beautiful. Nice red colors, so nice red and pink colors. So excited to get some work on that in 2026. So the next project I'm going to show you is something that I haven't shown on Flosstube because I haven't touched it during all of 2025. So hopefully I can make a little bit more progress on it this year. And so the chart is And Be Kind to One Another by Needlework Press. And I am stitching it on, so here's my progress on it. And I am stitching this on 32 count Picture This Plus Wren. And I'm stitching it 1/1 because I want to put it on a spool. So that's why it's going to end basically right here. And I've got enough that I can put it on a spool. This is the entire width, which is just under 3 inches. Now, what happened was the reason I stalled out on this is because I broke my number 10 beading needle, and they didn't have any in the shop, so I had to wait for them to be restocked. And during that time period, I just put this on. It ended up on the bottom of the pile, but it is going to be absolutely darling when it's finished. I am using, because it is 32 count over 1, I am using a SWA 103 conversion from the Attic Needlework in Mesa. So this is, when I see it now, it's like, oh, that's going to be really cool when it's finished. But I remember, like, when I was doing it, I was thinking, I should do this just on some 56 count linen. That way I don't have to worry about the floss slipping underneath the weave. And so if current right now, the width is 3 inches, and it's going to be 11.9 inches long. If I were to do it on 56 count over 2, it would be 13.6 inches. So it would actually just be an inch and a half longer, and 3.39, so 0.4 inches wider. So I would be able to, it'd only be 0.4 inches wider, and I would be able to do a pin stitch, which is how I anchor the beginning of my threads, and I wouldn't have to worry about slippage. And I don't have a spool yet, so that's sort of one more reason why I haven't moved quickly on it, is because I don't have a finish. I don't have a way of finishing it yet. So, but I should be able to get a 4-inch spool. Like, in between the two things would be 4 inches. So that way I could do it on 56 count over 2. So this may be, it's not a lot. This is, when you look at the chart and you look at what I have done, I have that bush, and I don't even have the first level of the house finished. So I could easily switch, and I've got plenty of 56 count that I'd be able to switch to and be fine. So I think I'm going to do one night of 32 count over 1, and if I don't like that process, then I'm going to change it to 56 count over 2. So that might change before you see that piece again. And then my fourth and final, I know, I've only got 4 works in progresses, is here's the silks for Ambikind. And this is the conversion from, this is the 103s. So when they came, they were on this ring. And I've learned that what I prefer is keeping them in a basket and pulling them off, because it's just easier for me to do it that way. But yeah, so they're nice 103 silks. So that brings me to my fourth and final work in progress, which is Edward 1874 by European Reproduction Samplers. And this is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, lots of alphabets, lots of borders. And so this is, and I know I can't fit this on my board. This is my start. This pattern, and so even on 56 count, I am going to go all the way across this piece and all the way down. So I am let's see, I have gone to, I've got, I think I've got 4 pages done. So I've got over to E finished. So I'm this far over, and I have just finished the this border. So I'm only this far down. So a little bit over half on the way down, but uh, once again, I didn't have any beading needles, and it took a while for them to show up at the shop, and it just ended up on the bottom. So I haven't worked on it this year, which is really sad. But so that's my works in progress parade, and so let's go into plans for 2026. Those were my works in progresses. Work in progress WIP Parade for 2025. And I have very few of them because I did a really good job of staying focused on bringing down my number. I came into 2025 with 10 works in progresses, and so really focused on them, which means 2026 there's going to be a lot of starts. So we'll see how many. But anyways, hopefully we can stay focused a little bit and bring that, keep it down to 4 or 5 going into next year. But some of the most immediate starts are a Christmas break start, and so every Christmas break I start a Blackbird design sampler, and this year's comes from the book Winds of Autumn, and so I am doing the Sisters sampler that you can see here on the back of the book. Except for what I've done is I've changed. I've done a lot of conversions, and so I have never worked on gray fabric, and my friend Stitchy Linda, she does a lot on gray fabric, and so much to her enjoyment, I've decided to do some gray. My first choice, and this is what I was at the shop on that Saturday, and this is what we decided to use, was from Hometown Fibers. It's called Dorcas, Dorcas. Anyways, and so it's got some beautiful modeling. Renita had a stand at Country Samplers Summer Stitch Camp, and so I really considered doing it on that piece. And then I was because I pulled out several options. I was putting fabric away, and I found this from Wabi Sabi Kitten Stitcher, some Wabi Sabi, and it's another gray fabric. And one of the reasons why I considered using this is because there's a slub. There's a large slub right here, and just the way the dye took it, it just ended up being in that spot. So, it's a fat quarter, and it's right there, right there. So, if the sister sampler I could put on the other side, and it would be in the border, and then I'd be able to save the Dorcas. I hate saying Dorcas, but it's funny too, so whatever. The two of them are very similar. That it would look good. So my board is Zweigart Light Mocha, and so you can see the amount of gray that they have. So they'd be very similar. But so I'm stitching it on gray, but I'm also doing an overdyed cotton conversion to a red, white, light blue, and dark blue. And so these are the colors that I've chosen. Very much a Blackbird Designs palette. And so the original pattern only called for 4 colors, and so it sort of fits very well to be converted. So that is my Christmas break start. I usually, just because of work, we get the 24th off, and if it falls like on a Monday, Tuesday, I'll start it like on Saturday, just so that way I can get a few more days of work or of stitching on the piece. But like I mentioned, I do a Blackbird Designs sampler every Christmas break. And so I just showed you my 2024 start, which was the a little bit of spring. And I don't know if I told you earlier what that was stitched on. So a little bit of spring is on Seraphim Thespy 40 count using overdyed cottons. And then my 2023 Christmas start was Our Lasting Friendship. And so this was stitched on Needle and Flax Thornfield 40 count. And I stitched everything except for the cartouches in the middle that have initials. I asked some of my friends at Brick City Cross Stitch. It was Brick City Cross Stitch at that time. I asked them to stitch each of their own cartouches and their initials. So that's some of my friends from my LNS who helped do that one. And then my 2022 Christmas start was The Winter is Past. And this is stitched on Picture This Plus Oaken using 36 count. Now, one of the things about Oaken is that it can be really dark, and sometimes it can be a bit more mauve than brown. So just keep your eyes out. I mean, it's really beautiful. Either way, it's beautiful. So The Winter's Past. And then 2021 was Oh Joyous Day. And this is stitched on Picture This Plus Heartland 40 count using overdyed cottons. And before somebody says anything in the comments, I welcome all comments. Don't get me wrong. I welcome all comments, but to anybody who's going to say, Peter, you've got 5 beautiful Blackbird Design samplers. Why are none of them framed? I would be, I would just agree with you that yes, they should be framed, but so should a lot of my other pieces that I haven't just framed yet. So hopefully Santa brings me a framing gift card. So yeah, so those are my Blackbird Design samplers, and the new ones that's coming. So that's going to be exciting to have another one to put in the stack. All right, so the Blackbird Designs piece is my Christmas Day start, and so my New Year's Day start is going to be the new Modern Folk Embroideries yearly stitch along. And this year it is called Little Acorn. And so when I don't need another big piece, but this is just too awesome not to stitch on it. So my printer is black and white, but he shows this in all reds. And so what I have chosen to do is, again, I've got a piece of, and I'm going to want to put this on a board. This will make it a lot easier. So because I chose one gray piece, I wanted to continue using gray fabric. And so this This piece again is Hometown Fibers again, and so called Queenie, and it's on her Verdal Fabrics, which is a blend between. And I'm sorry, Renita, I'm gonna get this wrong. It's a blend between linen and a synthetic. So the weave is a little bit more even than linen, but it's so smooth. It feels so good in your hand. And what I decided to do was because there are several layers. It's a band sampler. I decided that I was going to do an ombre, and I was going to use green floss for my ombre. So you can see it's 934, 935, 936, 3051, 3052, 3053. And so that Saturday after Thanksgiving, when I was at the shop, I was driving everybody absolutely bonkers because it took me a very long time to pick out my greens, and I'm still not super happy with them. Just because the bottom, all of the dark colors I always thought looked really good. There's not a much difference to them, but once you get to these lighter greens, the jump is too much. It's very significant. And so what I did, and you can see it here in the corner, is I made a small rectangle of each. And all 6 DMC colors are in that sample. And so you can definitely see where those top 2 are. So I'm on the fence. I really am on the fence on whether I'm going to continue with the 5 colors and have that very distinct light color on the top, or maybe just not do the light color, not do the 2 lightest colors, and just use a 4 color ombre effect. Yeah, I have spent a lot of time trying to figure out this ombre effect, and I'm still not 100% happy with it. And so there are times when I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to get an overdyed cotton. Collards. You look at this spectrum, and that is exactly what collards is. And so I'd be able to have a beautiful piece, but you look at it when it's like that, and that's just, I may have talked myself into the ombre with 4 colors. Yeah, because like, look at that. That's just that light one is just too light. And trust me, I've looked, and Linda has looked, and the 9 other people at the shop who nearly killed me, they all looked, and there just isn't a really good color in between these 2, which we were surprised by. We thought for sure DMC would have something in that spot, but they just don't. So it's either too blue or too yellow, and yep. So that's New Year's day start is little acorns with a green ombre. Now that I've got 4 instead of 6 colors, I'll need to refigure out where each one breaks up, but that's no big deal. So those are the 2 most immediate starts. I will have a birthday start with Linda. We have not picked out a pattern yet, but that's always in April. And then hopefully I get, it's one of those things that the Country Sampler Summer Stitch Camp is based on a first come, first served basis. And so hopefully I can get a spot there, and you know, they always have beautiful samplers, so I'll start something there as well. So that might be another big piece. So lots of big starts. Um, as far as my big work in progress, I want to finish Hannah. I want to finish Remember Me, and I want to make really good progress on Edward. So those are my plans for big pieces. Yeah. One of the 2025 plans that I absolutely failed at was stitching more smalls. So I have a stack of smalls that I keep in the top drawer of a dresser where I keep my works in progresses, and they're always there haunting me. So hopefully I can get some of these smalls done. So uh, I've got Deck the Halls by Blackbird Designs. This is a book of 6 strawberry patterns. I've got the fabric already cut for these. I just need to do them. Jeanette Douglas, Chubby Little Bird. Uh, I bought this immediately after it came out. Had some fabric cut specifically for this. The called for, or I got some Fox and Rabbit ballet slipper because my friend Anne stitched it on that color. It's phenomenal. I haven't done it yet, but it's there. Stacy Nash's Birds of a Feather Needlebook. So you can see the outside has all of those beautiful birds, and then on the inside is a berry basket. So I may just do the outside of that needlebook. Tomato, the Pennsylvania Dutch tomato pin keep. I already have the fabric cut to the exact color that I need, so don't know why I haven't done that yet. This one is Plum Street Samplers Good Company. This was a special released for Acorns and Threads, and I wanted it when they had it, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait until it's got a wider release. Bought it for the wider release and haven't done it yet, so that'll be a really good fall. Maybe, hey Linda, we're gonna do this in the fall, so that would be something we do in the fall. And then several years ago, I received this as part of the package from Blackbird Designs at Summer Stitch Camp, and we got the full kit, so all of the fabric, floss, and we were even gifted the basket. So I absolutely need to, and everything's here. I could finish that in just 1 or 2 weeks. So plans for 2026 is staying focused on these smalls and getting them done. I've wanted to do them for years, and try to mix them in with all of my large samplers that I want to finish or get partly finished in 2026. So that's a real quick video with my November successes, my work in progress parade, and plans for 2026. I hope all of you have a really Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's, and look forward to seeing all of you in January of 2026. So, my goodness. So, be safe, y'all. Talk to you later.